Everything you're about to hear is for education and entertainment purposes only. Whilst we are licensed, we're not aware of your personal financial circumstances. Any advice is general advice. Equity Mates operates under Australian Financial Services Licence 540697.
Equity Mates!
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.
Life throws many moments at you, some major triumphs, some awkward mishaps, and some real lows. In this Real Talk series brought to you by Guzmani Gomez, we are going through some of the real highs and lows of our investing journey. Welcome to Equity Mates Investing. My name is Bryce, and as always, I'm joined by my equity buddy, Ren. How are you going?
I'm very good, Bryce. Excited for this episode. We are up to episode 5 of our Real Talk series with GYG. Today, we're talking all things money advice. From terrible hot tips to timeless truths, let's keep it real and eat a burrito.
Love that.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the juicy stuff, the worst pieces of money advice that we've ever received. Or not that we've ever received, but we've been doing this for 8 years now. We've spoken to plenty of people. So perhaps, worst money advice we've ever heard.
Well, I mean, the worst one for me is the biggest barrier to stop people investing, which is investing isn't for you.
Yeah.
You don't have enough money, you don't have enough time, you don't have enough knowledge. Related, but a bit separate, it's too risky. I think those pieces of advice, stick to property or, stick to saving or whatever it is, because investing isn't for you. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
And like the fact that we're here and all the content we've done, hopefully, is just a very long, continuous effort to disprove that.
Yeah. As you said, we've proven that is not the case.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I have a real gripe with the traditional get a job, buy a house as the formal way of doing things.
Okay.
I think the whole idea that the best investment is your house is like, it is kind of true if you'd been, if you're, a boomer or the like, but I think cornering people early in their lives into thinking that the only way you build wealth is through the property market.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you've got to, that's
because people
you don't have a problem with the get a job part of it.
No, absolutely get a job. And I'll talk about that in the best.
So the worst piece of advice is the only way to build wealth is property.
Yeah, your best investment is your house. Firstly, where you live as your primary place of residence shouldn't be thought of as an investment because you have to liquidate it to actually get a return on it. You have to sell your house.
Yeah.
Secondly, if you're thinking, if the first thing you're thinking about when you're at university is I need a house to build wealth, you're going to start thinking I need to be putting so much money into mortgage, like deposit and all of these sorts of things. You're not even going to be considering the fact you could be starting to build wealth in the stock market.
Yeah.
So
love that.
There's more to it than building wealth through property.
I mean, related, the one that you hear a lot in the media, that you need to skip the smash davo or the coffee to buy a house, to afford a house. It's like the structural problems of housing affordability and the absolute blowout of median income to median house price is explained by factors far larger than Australia's enjoyment of smashed avo with a bit of feta on toast.
For me, Ren, the idea that people saying having credit cards helps with getting a good credit score, it's just not true.
Well, it is in America.
In America, yeah, but here in Australia.
No, what's not true is that credit scores matter.
That's also true. Well,
for the most people in most situations, yeah. Unless
yeah.
It's not as important as America.
No way.
Yeah.
No. So going out and getting a credit card and going into consumer debt to pay off the credit card to try and improve your credit score to then try and get a mortgage is just so wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get a credit card unless you really have a good purpose for it.
I mean, I would just finish the sentence that don't get a credit card. But I know people love chasing points and all of that stuff. And
like I'm in that phase of life where if you can manage a credit card with your cash flow, it is a good way to get points. But I'm not saying you should do that.
Yeah, well, I don't have a credit card because I just think it's not
slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, what else?
I mean, worst money advice, basically any stock tip from a mate.
Absolutely.
But I don't think we need to talk about that too much.
No.
What about this one? Oh, there's a lot of them that are property related. What do you think about this one though? Rent is dead money.
Yeah, I agree that that's bad advice.
Or the other one you sometimes hear is rent is paying off someone else's mortgage.
Yeah. I have a problem with it. Because rent is I look back on the times where we were renting, and it was awesome fun to begin with.
Yeah.
I loved renting. Couldn't have done it without living at uni, and like some parts of life you just have to rent. Secondly, like renting gives people flexibility that you might not have when you have a mortgage, like when you're living somewhere. Like you might not know you're going to be in a city for too long, and so renting is the right approach. Or you might be renting and investing elsewhere. I feel like, the need to be paying your own mortgage as soon as possible is like limits people's thought process around what else they could be doing with their money. Renting also allows you to live in places that you might not ever be able to buy.
Definitely.
So I think, rent vesting is where I think about this one.
Yeah, but I mean, even a step further than that, like forget rent vesting and buying a property elsewhere. Like just the difference between paying off a mortgage and the amount you're spending and then the amount you're spending on rent, that difference, what you do with that can make a big difference.
Yeah.
We did a worked example on our Instagram. I might repost it on the day this goes out so people can head to our Instagram and check it out. But if you just look at the amount that you're saving, like mortgage less rent, like that saving, if you invest that and then you compare it to like a median Aussie house price and the current mortgage rates and how much you'd be spending, and then you look at the average price growth over the past 30 years for property, 6.4%, and then you compare that to an higher expected return in the stock market, maybe you don't quite get there, but you can get pretty close. And so you can see our worked example on socials, the fact that rent is dead money, like that's bad advice, because the saving that you're making on your housing costs and what you do with that saving can make a real difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Any others?
I think that's probably enough. Let's get to the good stuff, I reckon.
All right.
Yeah. So let's take a quick break here before we do get to the good stuff and say thank you to Guzman y Gomez, who jammed their burritos full of good stuff.
Absolutely.
And Bryce, over the past few episodes, I've been asking you to guess some fun facts and stats, but I'm going to take it a different direction in this one.
Okay.
Because part of the GYG app is that you can make your burrito your way.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to ask you how you make your burrito your way.
Wow. Okay. So I go full-size burrito to start with. I go spicy chicken, extra chicken, need the protein hit. It's a good chunk of protein as well. I can't remember the grams, but it's good. Brown rice, then no cheese.
Okay.
I don't add any guac, so no dairy, and I add guac. Sour cream.
Yeah.
And then I add guac.
Okay.
Then on top of that, I go all the condiments. So I go the sliced onions, I go the jalapenos, I go the coriander and the pickles, and then I go the jalapeno salsa and the smoky chipotle sauce. It's a flavor hit.
As we said, full of the good stuff.
It's a flavor hit. It's also a whopper with the double chicken, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Is your burrito breaking in your hands?
No, they do such a good job at keeping it wrapped. They do such a good job.
Well, look, if you want to make your burrito your way, or if you want to try Bryce's burrito and see if you can hold it in your two hands,
yeah.
You can download the GYG app. You can sign up to Gomex, their rewards program, and get a free burrito. You can earn points every time you order. You can skip the queue and you can get it delivered.
Love it. Well, eat your way, keep it real, eat a burrito. Okay, let's get to the good stuff, Ren. The best money advice that we've ever heard.
Okay, I'm going to start with my best one, which is over your lifetime, the impact of investing will outweigh any pay rise, any promotion, any new job. When your money starts to work as hard as you do, you'll have a whole different view on how building wealth happens.
Yeah, I think no better example of probably how we've changed thinking about money over the last 8 years.
To be fair, the real power is combining the pay rise, the promotion, the new job with investing, especially early in your career. The compounding effect of a higher salary and keeping your expenses low and investing that amount is huge. But the idea, if you were to compare someone who had a really high paying job and just saved versus someone who had a lower paying job but knew about investing, the investor over their lifetime will do better.
Yeah, love that. I guess mine then flows into that in a way, which is the more you can live below your means and the more you can earn more and save more and put that money to work, the better off. And what I mean by that is like avoid lifestyle creep and don't save to save.
Yeah.
get that money working in the market as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Too many people get a pay rise and adjust their lifestyle to suit the pay rise. And I think if you can keep your cost base as similar as possible, you won't regret it.
Yeah. One for me that stands out is just the power of investing early. And it's easy to say that, but we actually did the worked example in Don't Stress, Just Invest, the book. Pick it up wherever good books are sold. We looked at someone who invested regularly between the ages of 20 and 30 and then didn't invest another cent for the rest of their life, and they just let their money compound, versus someone who didn't start until they were 30 and invested for the rest of their working life until they were like 60 or 65. So someone invested for 10 years and someone invested for 35 years. Naturally, you would think the person who invested for 35 years came out ahead. But it was the person who invested for 10 years early and then let that money compound. They had such a head start that the person investing for the rest of their life didn't catch up.
Yeah. Now, don't freak out if you think you've missed the boat if you're starting to invest post 20.
They both did very well. Yes. They both did very well.
It doesn't matter. The point of that story is get in as early as you can.
Yeah.
Get in as soon as you listen to this podcast for the very first time. That's the moment.
Yeah. And if you know young people in your life who should be investing, you know where to send them. Equity Mates, get started investing. Pick them up the book because, there is such a power in starting early.
So one for me, Ren, is obviously we talk a lot about getting your money in the market, getting it working for you and, automating a lot of the process. But I went to India and spent some time in India. And I remember a teacher that I was working with at the time, he said, you can always earn back money, but you can never earn back your time. And I think this was a good moment for me because it made me sort of recognize that, yes, putting money into the market and getting it to work is important, but also enjoying the money that you have in front of you for things here and now.
Yeah.
Like I look at a lot of people who are trying to do FIRE and perhaps, in my view, sacrificing things for now, for the future. And so, that was a really good piece of advice for me. It's like, enjoy the moment here. You can always earn back your money, never the time, but also do it in an appropriate way.
Yeah. So you spoke about savings before. I want to share one more, and it's actually a quote from Morgan Housel. His book, The Psychology of Money, I think is probably the one would recommend first.
Yeah.
Aside from ours, of course.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
But this quote, I liked how he framed it. So the quote is, saving is the gap between your ego and your income. The fastest way to increase your savings is to increase your humility. And the point he makes in this chapter is essentially, think about all of your spending. Everyone's got like a base level of spending to cover their needs. Food, shelter, clothing, whatever it is. But then essentially everything above that is a reflection of your ego or how you want to be perceived. Yeah. And, that might be the restaurants you want to go to or the car you want to drive or the brand name clothes you want to wear or the things you want to do on the weekend, whatever it is. It's like really interrogate what that spending means to you and why you want to do it. And maybe it is you love sports cars and then that is like a meaningful thing for you to spend on. But maybe it is that you want to be seen in a sports car because you want that to reflect a certain image about yourself and you want people to perceive you in a certain way. And if it is the latter, then it's like the spending is just a function of your ego.
Yeah.
So
leave the ego at the door.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just think that's a really interesting way a different framing to interrogate your spending.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't recommend reading that book as a starting point for anyone, regardless of where you are in your investing journey.
You couldn't recommend it enough.
More.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any to close us out?
For those young listening, I think just take risks at this point as well.
What about for those old listening?
Take considered risks.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you have time on your side when you're a lot younger to take some risks, both career-wise and both investing-wise. So, make the most of the decades that you have in front of you. Yeah.
Speaking of risk, just one more that comes to mind is, I'm not sure if this is advice that we ever got, but a really important lesson is like the idea of risk in the stock market is misconstrued, I think. There is like a mathematical definition of risk that financial professionals talk about, which is volatility, is measured by volatility. But for regular people like us, that isn't risk. Risk is the permanent loss of our money.
Yeah.
Those two things often get conflated because they both use the word risk, but they mean really different things over a long-term investing horizon. Volatility shouldn't scare you because, you know, there's never been a dip that hasn't been worth buying and the stock market's always recovered and all of the things that we always talk about. The permanent loss of your money should scare you, but we need to really be clear on which is which.
I agree.
All right, well, a big thank you to GYG for partnering with us on this Real Talk series, for helping us keep all of our content free. If you have just started investing, we know the way to celebrate. Keep it real. Eat a burrito.
You have been listening to an Equity Mates Media production. In the spirit of reconciliation, Equity Mates Media acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. This podcast is intended for education and entertainment purposes. Any advice is general advice only and has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances, needs, or objectives. Before acting on general advice, you should consider if it is relevant to your needs and read the relevant product disclosure statement. And if you're unsure, please speak to a financial professional. The hosts of this podcast and their guests may have positions in the companies mentioned. Equity Mates Media operates under an Australian Financial Services Licence 540697.